Hey guys! In recent years, it has happened that almost everyone is trying or at least thought to enter the IT. However, not everyone has a technical education. Therefore, some beginners are looking for directions that do not require lengthy preparation, and usually the choice falls on the QA. But is the profession of a quality assurance analyst is that simple? The answer is yes and no. And today we will discuss why. First, a specialist who is in charge of the quality of a product will need basic skills, attention to details, and good understanding of features which are under the test. All this is basis which in the process of work is complemented by the ability to use specific tools such as bug tracking systems, messengers, and so on. When the whole set of skills will develop, you can try yourself for a QA position. However, in the modern world, it might not be enough to enter this market. To pass a QA interview, you will need the theory and fundamentals of the subject area. Also, you will have to practice on projects and learn common approaches of testing. And I assure you, you will not get bored at the start, no matter how primitive the tasks may seem. This is only a first impression and most of the time is misleading. If you sincerely want to become a quality assurance analyst and put maximum effort into it, then see how versatile this profession is. There is always room to grow. However, the challenges are essential. Now, let's talk about the challenges. We have to develop a system thinking. Not everyone has a well-trained muscle of systematic thinking by nature. Therefore, we have to develop. With this kind of thinking, QA looks at the project more broadly and come up with the correct and more optimal testing methods and test cases. Usually, when the young specialist looks at the feature, he usually sees only it and nothing else around it. The maximum is the few close obvious dependencies. The skill is most evident when QA is faced with the challenge of testing planning for a large-scale project. If a specialist does not know how to view a project as the whole system and see all the dependencies and interconnections, it is highly likely that the team will not build a good testing strategy in an optimal way. If QA has set a goal at any cost to understand the feature and find the right approach to testing it, experience will allow to find useful test cases in the same features that have been tested before, and of course the efficiency will go up and work efficiency increases significantly. As a result, QA engineer will have more opportunities to engage in other tasks and reveal leadership abilities. Communicate a lot. QA is not only testing, but also a regular collection of information, data, and building well-coordinated communication in the team. And sometimes the tester is attracted by the business to engage into the communication with the stakeholders. A specialist who knows how to quickly obtain the necessary information and distribute it in tasks for their teammates and also share it with the customers is definitely a pro. Such person is the greatest asset for the team. A young specialist does not always understand when it is better to ask questions, who to share the results of his work with, and what to do with the feedback afterward. But once he has learned it, this will have a positive effect on the entire team. This project will be progressing. The tester's social abilities, like all other team members, helps not to miss important moments in the project and stay on the cutting edge of the IT sphere. Let me share with you guys a real story. I used to work in a project where there was initially a very big communication problem. It was not only the QA team who experienced the difficulties in communication, but every team has solved their problem in its own way. My QA team worked quietly and it seems that everything was just perfect. Tickets were closed, Test cases were written, bugs were fine. And then came the local disaster. Suddenly, it turned out that neither the development team nor the managers on the client side understood what QA team was exactly doing. There is something seemed to be done, but how, when, and why are the questions that only QA engineers could answer. Analyzing this situation, I've realized that our QA engineers almost never discussed their tasks or actions with anyone except their closest colleagues. The problem was solved with the introduction of permanent reports and calls every couple of weeks to share the results of testing with the customer. Gradually, all team members clarified for themselves why high-quality communication is needed and how to set it up effectively. It is necessary to constantly master technical skills. Update the existing toolkit is a must-have for a QA engineer. It is difficult to overestimate how quickly and efficient the work can be done if the right tool is chosen. For example, automated web UI testing will be much easier if you will use Selenium and Python. The ability to quickly choose the right tool and study it is definitely difficult, but it will help you to grow as a specialist. From tester to QA. In practice, the main tasks of a tester are different from those of a QA engineer. The tester runs tests and verifies the expected result with the actual. The QA engineer has a lot of tasks to maintain the quality of a product. Communication with the team members and clients, planning testing work, generating specific documentation, and many other tasks. But if we treat such work as a long development process, then most of the skills will come to the tester with experience. He participates in team activities and gradually gets more and more access to interesting tasks. Little by little, a novice tester is approaching a proud title of a QA. QA is primarily an engineer. For many, this sounds unusual and can cause some resistance. Don't be nervous. An ideal QA is the specialist who perceives a new task as a challenge and is eager to overcome this with the help of existing toolset. Faced with the unfamiliar tasks, the tester will say, "I cannot do this. Can someone else do this for me?" And the real QA engineer will say, "Let me figure this out and explain how will I solve this issue." There are several specialists in my team who've gradually started to share and support this approach. And exactly at the moment when they accepted the new rules of the game and the fear does not exist, they began to get more pleasure from their work and constant respect from their colleagues. What activities are available with this mindset described above? Yes, any. You can take on any tasks and learn something new from it. For example, automation of functional checks, performance, security, accessibility, and much more. Well, I hope now you understand what are the difficulties and challenges in QA profession, and it's definitely not that simple as it might seem. Guys, like this video if you enjoyed it and want to learn more about QA profession and tech trends.